So good afternoon. Again, my name is Jasmine Shaw. I'm the Director for School Facilities. And joining me is Darius Williams. And Darius, you can introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you here. Darius Williams. Of course, I'm the program coordinator for Office of School Facilities. I'm quite sure I've dealt with many of you. Many of the names look familiar, so I'm quite sure you've dealt with me at some point. Um, I'm the program coordinator. I'm in charge of the projects, the new portal that we're implementing, downloading any files you have from the portal, just kind of managing the projects within OSF. That includes mapping, getting access to our portal, Chapter 1 information, anything dealing with the new portal or the existing portal. I'm kind of manning that particular aspect of OSF. Again, welcome. And if you have any questions, even after the presentation, you're welcome to contact me and I'll help you out the best I can.
Thank you, Darius. And again, yes, we are very pleased to present to you our new school facilities portal. We've been working on it for several years now. I want to say either 7 to 8 years we've been working on the portal, and so we are here. The portal itself is made up of 4 different sections. And let me go ahead and go to that particular section of our page. So if you visit our homepage, ed.sc.gov, that's our agency's website, of course. And if under districts and schools, if you go down to school planning and building, this is the school facilities homepage. Under general information, you'll see electronic portal instructions. So if you go there, this talks about our new application. Our new application is a one-stop shop for both districts, design professionals, Chapter 1 inspectors, as well as other state agencies to get a status of their projects within our office in real time. And so the questions that we get the most is, did OSF receive my project? What's the status? Did the design professional give you plans to review? All of those questions are answered right away within our system because you'll have access to it. The system is made up of 4 parts. The Chapter 1 inspector, we keep up with all of their credentials and certifications, as well as the district facility user. And today, that's what we're going to talk about. What is your district facility user role and the purpose of it? As well as design professional and the state agency. So we're right here at this point. Below, after today, we'll have a recording available regarding for the district facility user on how to actually use the application. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Darius Williams is our program coordinator, and he is the single point of contact for this particular application. So at this time, I will mention that in going to our new application, it's becoming eco-friendly. We're not using as many papers. We have forms within our website that's going to be replaced by our new portal. And so for today's presentation, we're going to talk about property acquisitions. So that's form F2A as well as form F2, but also form F7 will be replaced by what we're going to go over today. We will make these forms still available to you. They will always be here on our website, especially just like myself, like to have a hard copy of some documents sometimes, and those documents will be available to you. Okay, so at this time, all of you have received an email about today's presentation, and I will run through it just to look with you. So if you're wondering why you received the email, last year we did a vacant school survey, a list of all of the properties that the school had that are either vacant or unused. And we sent a survey out last year, and you've responded as, this is the person who would be my facility user within this application, or you are the facility manager. So your role within the application is called district facility user. And what is a district facility user? That person is a data entry person that is responsible for entering in the property, the name of the project, the description of the project, selecting a design firm, and there's some other things as well. But essentially, you're the data entry user. And the question comes up, can I have multiple district facility users for my district? And absolutely, the more the merrier. So you can have as many district facility users that you want for your district in order to enter in the information into our application. If you would like to volunteer someone from your district, all you have to do is email Darius Williams at this email address here, and with the following items: the first name, the last name, the title, as well as the email address and phone number, and he will make sure that you get into the system. Okay. Again, for more information about our portal, I'll head back to our website. So many of you may have already completed this step. I also send out some instructions as to how to access the portal. As a district facility user, you would just click on district facility user instructions and follow these steps. But all you have to do is reach out to whomever your web access coordinator person is for your district, and they can give you direct access to our application. All right, so let's go ahead and move into our application. Now, some of you actually may follow along with me, and you're more than welcome to do so. All right, so if you go to our homepage, ed.sc.gov, in the upper right-hand corner, you will select Login. Now, at this time, our agency is moving over to a new application portal. Many of you are used to the Legacy portal, and I'll go ahead and click on Legacy. This particular image is what a lot of people are used to seeing when they're logging into their account, but our agency is now going over to a different one. So when you come to this page, in the bottom left-hand corner, you want to click on Proceed to Application Web Portal Login. Okay, so it'll take you here. Now, for training purposes, I have a fake account, kind of like a dummy account to log in with. And I want to log in as if I am a district facility user. And so you'll see what all that you have access to. Okay, so when you get to this page of the portal, you'll notice two things when it comes to our new school facilities portal. Well, the first thing, that's the name of our portal. It's called School Facilities Portal. You'll see it under Applications right here. And you'll also see it under Training. Now, for training purposes today, I'm going to go to under Training and walk us through that. This particular school facilities portal under Training is just a test site that we can work in, and we want to make sure we don't do anything within our live application, that will either mess it up or anything like that. But for training purposes, it gives us the opportunity to test our site out. Now, after the end of our discussion today on property acquisitions, I will let you know exactly what we need your help with in getting your projects and your properties within our system. Okay. And then when you do that, when you are actually entering your properties, you want to go here under Applications, the live version, School Facilities Portal. Okay. So for training purposes, I'm going to go down here and select School Facilities Portal. When you access the portal, it's going to take you to our home page, and it'll have our mission statement. And at the top, you'll see Property, Project Management, and also the Inspector Management tab. Okay, so Today we're going to talk more about property acquisition. So I'm going to select, if you're following along with me, if you would select under property, click the drop down list and select property acquisition. And again, you must be in the training, under training for school facilities portal. So let's talk a little bit about what is a property acquisition. And so a property acquisition is a property that the district is seeking to own or lease, or the charter school is seeking to own or lease. You have not acquired the property yet. That's a true property acquisition. The definition for property acquisition for our system still remains the same. However, it is also the way that you enter in your property within our system to begin with. And so I'm going to share with you a flow chart. So the property acquisition process as a whole is made up of 7 parts. And within the process, the district really is driving this particular avenue for property acquisitions. The district's in the beginning, the district is at the end, and the district is centered in the middle. Us for OSF, we have an OSF user that actually comes out to the property and assess the property. And then you have me, the OSF director, who's approving the property. Of course, after your superintendent and board chairs approve the property, I'll look at the information. And of course, if it's acceptable, it meets all the criteria, I'll go ahead and approve it. If not, then I'll be in contact with the district to let the district know what exactly we need. But your role is very important within this process. So if you think of a house, I'll talk about my home. So our particular property is on lot 79, and my neighbor's property may be lot 80 or 81. I'm not sure. But one thing is that my property, it sits on a certain amount of square footage. And so within my property, I have my home, which is my property. And so if I was entering in my information, I would enter in all my information about my property. So my square footage, the location, what zoning it's in. And then later down the road, under this tab here that talks about project management, I can add a renovation to my home. So if I'm renovating, my kitchen area or bathrooms, then I can do it under my project management tab. And so the same thing happens with schools. So if say you had Smith High School, well, Smith High School is the property. And so I'm going to enter in Smith High School and all the necessary information within our system regarding Smith High School. And then once it's in there, it's in our system. And then later down the road, if I want to do a renovation to Smith High School, then I'll go under the project management tab and I'll do so. I can renovate the bathrooms, or I can add a kitchen hood to my kitchen area. And so let's go in and talk more about the property acquisition. Okay, so for training purposes, you will always see Abbeville. It's one of the first districts selected, but it makes it easier on us when we're training to only have the one district. So we're not looking for several different projects under multiple districts. So Abbeville will always be selected. And so what you want to do is click Create New Acquisition. Okay. The first question it asks is whether or not will this property be adjacent to another already existing property? And then if you do have other existing properties in our system and this property you're entering is adjacent to it, you want to say yes to that question. And of course, if it is adjacent to a property that's already in our system, it's going to give you a drop down that you can select which property is adjacent to. So for example, if your Smith High School and that property is already in our system, but then you have a maintenance building that you're going to build next to the Smith High School, then you want to say yes. My maintenance building is adjacent to, and then you want to click the drop down list and select Smith High School. But we're going to make it a little bit easier. We're going to say, no, we don't have a property right next to it. We're entering in this for the first time. And so what you want to do is select no. And once you select no, it's going to ask for all of the property description information. And so this part is pretty straightforward. You want to enter whatever your projected closing date is for your property. So I'm going to make up a closing date. This is just random information. I'm going to say the projected closing date, we're going to do it on the 18th of December. And I'm going to be a instructional building. I'm going to start out with 100 people or 1,000, and I'm going to max out at 4,000. We're going to be high school, so let's do 9th grade to 12th grade. We plan to occupy this particular high school in not next year, but the year after. So we'll do August 15th, 2022. Now, the zoning class, that will be based on whatever your zoning is locally for your area. We will send out some links to some of the information we know so that you'll have it for your district. But this is a local driven process right here. But you can definitely go ahead and put in your zoning class as well as the number of acres. I'm just making up some numbers here. So I'm going to say I have 60 acres and 40 of that's usable. And here, this part here, you want to put in your actual location. So let's say Spring Valley High School. That is my property location. Now, what you don't want to do is say Spring Valley High School kitchen renovation, because that's a little bit too much details. The kitchen renovation is a whole nother section. Right now, we're just interested in what is the property. And so I'm going to take this out. And Darius is going to be helping with this. If you do put something in there like that, he'll reach out to you and let you know that it just needs to be the actual location. So we're going to say this is Spring Valley High School. Okay, and so next, you want to enter in your parcel ID or your tax map ID number associated with that property. And in some cases, you'll have multiple ones over a span of property. So we'll say Spring Valley, let's say they had 3 tax map ID numbers for their property because it's on a pretty large piece of land. So we'll add 3. And if you notice, it's allowing me to add as many as I want here. All right, so we have our tax map number. And then the next question says, is rezoning required for intended use? We're going to just say no. There's no rezoning needed for this particular location. But if there is, you would check yes. Now, the very last piece is very, very important. This is kind of the make or break of this particular software application. We must know if this is a new purchase or lease, because for OSF I'll show you our guide here. So our South Carolina Planning and Construction Guide talks about both the property acquisition piece, and it's for both owned and leased property. And so what I'm going to do is actually get with our PMO group so they can revise this question to make it clear that this is for both purchase property as well as lease property. Okay, but the question is this a new purchase? Okay, if it is a new purchase, it tells us, OSF, that we must follow all of these steps from start to finish. And so it has to get superintendent's approval, board chair approval. Me as director, I'll have to assign someone within our office to go out and look at the property. So if the answer is yes, and you truly are buying the piece of property or leasing it, we will have to go through these steps. Now, if it's not a true purchase, say like today's October 30th, and you already own the property, then the answer would be no. We'll say no. And what happens, it makes the process a lot shorter. You go from step one, you skip and go all the way to the last step, and I'll show you what the last step entails. So for this example, we're going to say, no, this is not a new purchase. We already have the property, but of course, for the sake of getting it in the system, we're going to say no, and we're going to hit the save button. Okay, so at this time, you would simply add utilities. So for example, Spring Valley High School is already owned by the district for Richland 2. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to add Dominion Electric. It's located on the site, 30 feet away, and I'm going to add my utility. And so this is what you would be doing as the district facility user. I'm also going to add some more utilities. I'm going to say water, City of Columbia. And something that's really neat is once you do this one time, the system will remember whatever it is that you put in from before. And so it'll really become more of a click and go for you. And if you don't have the rest of this information, it's absolutely fine. I'm actually not even going to put the hydrant test and flow amount, but simply put, I have City of Columbia, water, and the location. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there's some other utilities, but for the sake of training, I'll just go ahead and move on. So you as a facilities person, you've already done your description, you've already done your utilities tab, and the very last thing that you need to do is at the end down here for completion. Now, and so what you want to do here is select complete property acquisition information. Okay, so this is information that we would need in order to get you fully set up for your property. So I'm going to make up that we actually purchased the property in, well, of course, I cannot pick a future date, so I'm just going to make up October. We're going to say October 22nd is when we purchased Spring Valley High School. We purchased it for $1 million, and it rests on, whatever acreage it was that I said before. I think I said 60. And then we're going to hit the complete button. All right, so it says here that my property acquisition purchase information has been edited. So for Abbeville County, we're going to go to show all acquisitions. And here, see, we've done a lot within the training system already, but the one that we just have done together is Spring Valley High School. And you'll see that the status is complete. So that is in our system. And what that means is Spring Valley High School has been entered into our system. And then later, when we do part 2 of the presentation, I'll show you how to do a renovation at that particular high school. Okay? So let's do one again that I call the shortcut, stepping from point 1 all the way down to point 7. So you come in, property acquisition, and then you would select, of course, select your district. Again, for training purposes, Abbeville is automatically selected, but you want to click the drop-down list and select your district or charter. Then you would select create new property or create new acquisition. Answer the question, and for training purposes, we're just going to say no, we don't have a property adjacent to another. We're going to go in and enter in our close date. We'll give this one December 11th. Our building type, okay, let's do athletics. I'm going to say 500 people. We projected to occupy this building let's do August of 2021. You would enter in your zoning class. You would enter in your number of acres. Now, since I've selected athletics, let's say Thomas Training Center. And what I don't want to do is say Thomas Training Center renovation. Again, this is just a location. And so for Thomas Training Center, it rests on parcel ID number this, as well as parcel ID number that, or tax map ID. We're going to say no zoning is required for this. And again, I'm giving an example of just simply entering in the property. This is not a real property acquisition. So I'm going to say no. This is not a new purchase or lease. And I'm going to hit the save button. Okay, so a new acquisition has been created. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my utilities. I'm just going to say we have electric for now. It's Dominion and it's on site. And I'm going to just say 30. Okay, in the very last step, you go to the far right under completion, and you go ahead and complete the information regarding when Thomas Training Center was actually purchased, how much it cost, as well as how many acres it rests on, and we'll hit our complete button. All right, so if we go to show all acquisitions, we'll see that the Thomas Training Center is now complete. And that's the simple step of getting your property within our system. Like I said, towards the end of the presentation, or what we're going to do, we're going to give you, the district, a list of all of the projects that we have within our office currently. And I consider those to be the ones that we want you to first enter into our system. Of course, since we're transitioning to a new portal, we want to get the ones that we have in our office already in our system. So when you go in and you enter in your properties, we want you to first start with the ones we have in our office. And then once you've completed those, we want you to go ahead and enter in all of the properties that you have, within your district. So of course, at any time, if you decide that you want to do a renovation to that property, it'll already be in the system and all of that will be taken care of. But of course, start with the ones that we send to you. And of course, at that point, if we send you a project and you actually have other projects going on, it'll let you know that we don't have that one within our office as well. I hope we don't have any cases like that. All right, so now that I've shown you how to enter in a property for your district just to get it into our system, now what I'm going to show you is what is a true property acquisition. What if I didn't own the property as a district and I must go through these steps? Well, what I do want to share with you is that we are required by State Statute 5923-250 Part B to approve the purchase of the property, approve prior to the acquisition of the property. We as the Department of Education must approve it. So we are enforcing and implementing a state statute requirement when we're doing this. So I do want to start at least at that level. Also, in me showing you this form, many of you may already know about this form, but we did update our form, and this is the updated form. This is what we currently have and what we're currently using. And so many of parts of this form may already be familiar with you. You would come to the Form 2A within our current process. You would fill out Section 1, and you would submit that to our office to let us know that you have a property that you want us to look at. And then we would send out an OSF person to come and actually view the property. And so this form is now becoming an electronic version within our application. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, when you log in, go to property, select property acquisition, select your district or your charter. And for testing purposes, Abbeville is already selected for us. You want to select create new acquisition. Again, we're just going to select that this property is not adjacent to another that's already in the system. We are going to complete some of the same steps that we just recently done. I'm just going to put in a couple of just information in general. Let's do instructional. We're going to start out at 1,000. We're going to max out at 4,000. We're going to make this a high school, so 9th to 12th grade. We plan on occupying the building in August of 2022. Okay, then we're going to select the zoning class. So you as a district is going to select your zoning class, and we're going to be on 200 acres. We're going to say 180 of that's actually usable. And then let's see, there may be a Foster High School out there, but I'm making this up right now. So we're going to say Foster High School. And Foster High School rests on tax map number or parcel ID number, and we're going to give them 3. No rezoning is required for Foster High School location. Now, this is a new purchase. You as a district, you don't own the property yet, or you don't have it as a lease. So we're going to select yes. We're going to hit save. And again, you're welcome to follow along with me here. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and put in your utilities. Again, we're going to say electric. Dominion, it's going to be on site. Let's go ahead and add that. We're going to add water. Okay, so at this point, you as a district, you've completed your description, you've completed your utility. And I'll actually send out this flow chart. I will update this flow chart. It says superintendent, but it needs to say superintendent and board chair. And I do want to add the, kind of like that shortcut that I mentioned. If you already own the property or already leasing the property, then you would just have to make a lot fewer steps. I'll send this out as well to you in case you're like me and I just love visuals. The tabs that we were recently at, you had your description tab, utilities, demographics, site visit, comments, upload, and completion. You as the district would be the red tabs, so district and utilities, and then the completion. For OSF, we have these 2 tabs, and then the ones that circled in black, both OSF and the district both have access to these particular tabs. And so I just wanted to share that information with you, but I'll make sure I send it after the presentation is over with. So once those 2 tabs are completed, as OSF director, I'll assign someone within our office to come out and look at your property. And so in doing so, if you notice on your site visit tab, you don't have any other options because these two tabs, as I just mentioned, OSF staff. And so what I'm going to do at this time, I'm actually going to log in as the OSF staff member, and I'm going to complete this so we can actually see what happens next. And where we are within our flowchart, we're right here in step 2.
Before we go on, I have a question.
Oh, okay. Yes.
My question is, when you're filling in the original property, what if you don't have the exact original purchase date or cost? We have some properties that are 70 or more years old. I don't know if I have that information.
My understanding is that that information cannot be received by the county or like county records.
I'm not sure. We'd have to investigate. I'm asking your expectations.
Well, that information does have to be there, and I'll go and show you that it had an asterisk by it. But yeah, we definitely need that information. And the reason more so why we need that information is that eventually when the property is ready to be disposed of, say if you eventually want to get rid of the property that was built, that long ago, our system automatically pulls from the original information from when it was entered as to how much it costs, and it puts it really nicely on a form of information. So we'll have it for the State Board of Education. So it's thinking of a process way down in the line, but that's why we essentially need it up front.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, looks like we have another question. Paula? Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm logged in as OSF, and I've selected property and property acquisition. And then I've selected Abbeville. And I'll select view listing. But of course, when you do this, you'll just select your district and then view listing. And so from an OSF standpoint, I see that Foster High School has come into the office. And as OSF director, I'll assign it to someone within our office, and they'll reach out to you and set up a time where they can come out to the site. And so as the OSF user, that person's going to come in here, and let's give it to David Blackwell. He works for our office. And say David's going to come out and look at your property on November 2nd. He would go in here and add this. And then also, let's say Department of Transportation is going to come out as well. And we normally come out on the same day. So I'm going to say David Meekins, the Department of Transportation, is also going to come out on the 2nd. Now, again, this is OSF completing this part. Something that we will do is add organization so that we know, what person represents what organization. So that will be a future enhancement. This area you will see, it will be grayed out for you to enter in anything, but you will have the ability to see the information in this section, okay? And so, David will go in and put all the site visitors. When he comes out to the site, he'll fill out this form with him. So I'm just literally making up information here. We're going to say Foster High School is the undeveloped area where the school is going. The growth trend is growing in that area. And when he gets out there, he may find that there's steep slopes. It's a wooded area. It has a natural lake. And some of the problematic areas may be industrial noise. You know, this is just some options that he can choose from when he's out on the property. There may be poor access to the property. And then he has the option to put in any other information that he chooses regarding the property. And so for testing purposes, I'm just going to put in something generic, and then he would hit the save button. David would then have the option to put comments in into here. And so David part is done. And so I just wanted to show you that this is the part that happens when it comes back to OSF. Okay, so OSF, we've done our part. We've come out, we've looked at the property. It's now back to the district. We're in step 3 here. And so since we're in step 3, I'm going to log back in as if I am the district facilities person. So I am logging in as you. For training purposes, I'm going to go under training, school facilities portal, property, property acquisition. So we're working on Foster High School. I'm going to select it. And if you recall, I said that these sections there's no action. You cannot add a visitor, but you can see the information. So this is showing you that you can see that David Blackwell and David Meekins came to your property, and you can see the report that David Blackwell filled out as the OSF representative regarding that property. And the comments tab, you can certainly put in whatever information you want. If you want to put anything in this field, you don't have to, but I'm just showing you that you can. You can enter in comments. So the upload button is very important here. So if your superintendent is on board and the district has decided that they really want to move forward with this property, at this time, you as the district facilities person would ensure that all of the necessary documentation that we need to review is in the system for our review. And so you are already familiar with our F2 form, which is the official application, because sometimes as a district, you may get to a certain point and decide, you know what, we really don't want this property. We're going to move on to another property. But if you choose to truly purchase this property and move forward, I'm sure this part looks familiar, but this is the documentation that we've always have requested from the district. And so you would make sure that we have the boundary plat information by a registered land surveyor, if available, the topographic information, the phase 1 report. And of course, if the phase 1 report comes back where there's a lot of issues with the land, then the phase 2 report would be the next one that would be needed. The SEDOT traffic report as well, but for their input. And if you have a septic tank, we would need that report as well. And so all of this information, again, is information we've always requested for, and we've taken that and made it electronic. So all the options you saw in the form are all the options here. And so I'll just demonstrate. If you as a district, if you're adding the phase 1 report, you would just select phase 1. You can give it a name and select your browse button. And of course, this will be saved to your computer. And then you would select your phase 1 report from your computer and hit the upload button. Okay, and if you notice, it's dated for today at 2:49 and 22 seconds. We have a phase 1 report, and you can view your report here if you select the view button. And so you would do that. Say we're adding a traffic study. Okay, and then we'll say the traffic study is there, and I'll click the view button so you can see that, you know, the document actually got uploaded. Okay, so once you've completed adding your documentation, you would go to the completion button. And at this time, we are at step, now the information has been submitted to the superintendent as well as the board chair. And so the superintendent and the board chair would go in, and they would also have access to view the information as well. So what I'll do now is just go ahead and log in and push it through. Just for training purposes, we'll go ahead and push it through. Okay, I'm going to school facilities portal. Okay, so for the fact that I'm logged in as the board chair, I can only see what I can see. So as the board chair, I see that Foster High School has been submitted for me to review and approve. So I'm going to go in to Foster High School. I'm going to look at all the information, you know, the tab, make sure everything looks adequate. And at the very end for the completion tab, the board chair and the superintendent is also seeing the same thing. And it will say submit to OSF. And so this particular property acquisition is being submitted to OSF for review and approval. And so within the overall process, we are here. So the director of office of school facilities at this point will review the property. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I'm going to approve the property. And for training purposes, of course, I'm going to training, school facilities portal. I'm going to go to property acquisition. I'm going to select Abbeville. That's the only one that I really can select at this time under training. And I see that Foster High School has been submitted, and I'm going to go in. Look, of course, look at all the necessary information under the tabs. I'm going to look at the information that was submitted, make sure there's no issues, and then I will select the approve button. If there are issues, I'll be sure to reach out to the district. I certainly don't want to hit the deny button, but we can certainly work out and see what information is needed. So at this time, I'll go ahead and approve the purchase of or the property for Forest High School. So now that my part is done as director, the very last step resides with you as the district facility user, which was the same question that came in about the date that the property was purchased and how much it was purchased for. That must be that's the last step of the process, and it has to be done. So if I go back to property acquisition, select my district and view listing, the last step that you would do is entering that information. So I'm going to click on the property, go to the completion tab. Okay. I'm actually logged in as the director, so I'm going to log in as you, the district facilities person. So the neat thing about this software application, it will definitely let you know if you're logged in correctly or not. All right, so I'm going to go to property acquisition. Okay, my district is already selected for me. You go to Forest High School. And at the very end is when you want to click your blue button, complete property acquisition information, and enter in exactly when you purchased the property. I'm just entering in random values here, the purchase price, as well as the actual acreage, and then complete, and you're done. And so you want to go to show all listings or show all acquisitions to see which ones you have within your district as a whole. And you can see that Forest High School is complete. Okay, so if we take a step back and we look at, this is the process from start to finish, 7 steps if you are actually truly purchasing the property or leasing the property. But if you are not and you already own the property, you're already leasing it, all you have to do is go from here, this step, all the way to the end, which essentially was completing the first 2 tabs, description, utility, and then the very last tab, which was completion, and that was entering in the date as well as how much the property cost and the acreage. And that is how you enter in a property acquisition. Okay, so I will go ahead and answer any questions that we have at this time.